everyone, and welcome to Touchbase Thursday, or Thursday with Kim, for April 23rd. As you start to log in, make sure you say hi to me and let me know that you are live with me, and we will get started here in just a couple of moments with some awesome projects that I've created for you guys. If you are live with me, please comment and tell me hi. If you're watching replay, please go ahead and comment replay. And we will get started here in just a couple of moments once I know that I've got a couple people here with me. So anyway, it is April 23rd, and here in Michigan we are still on our stay safe, stay home order, which I have a gut feeling might get extended in the next couple of days. So we just gonna have to wait and see, I guess. But yeah, it's been going okay. The girls started their homeschool or their online learning program this last week. So we are adjusting to that as well. So anyway, again, if you are live with me, please go ahead and say hello. And if you are watching on replay, type replay. And we will get started here in just a couple of moments. I've got some awesome prizes to give away tonight for sharing my videos. So as you guys know, if you are live, go ahead and share that. Or if you're watching on replay, share it. You have the whole week to share it. And yeah, so one lucky winner is going to win some awesome stuff. So anyway, a few things I have in the way of announcements before we get started. Hello, Nancy. Nancy from Ithaca's with us. Hi, Nancy. So just a few things in the way of updates regarding myself and my family. And hi, Philomena. And things that are going on for me. So most of you know I'm a new grandma, and I am enjoying that little bundle of joy. Not able to do much of the holding and things like that. But her name is Chloe Caroline, and she is a little over a week old, and she's just beautiful. So those of you that, I'm sure some of you have seen pictures that I've posted, but she's doing great. Mom and Dad are adjusting wonderfully, and they totally are in love with her. They're just smitten with her, so that's really nice. So there's a little update on my son Matt and his wife Nicole. And the girls started their online learning home program this last week. So it's been a little bit challenging because in our living room we have a table and then another table, and my daughter Natalie and I share a table, and Claire sits across from us, so it's kind of like a triangle. And there we sit working on stuff because I'm working from home. So every once in a while I gotta tell my youngest, Claire, quit talking, because she just likes to talk and talk and talk. And poor Natalie is like, and after a while it's like, okay, Claire, stop, time out, stop, you need to do your schoolwork. I mean, she's still working, but she's still talking too. So that's been a little bit of an adjustment with them actually working in the same area that I was working in before. They were working on the couch or whatever, but I'm like, they actually needed a formal workstation that they could sit at and have it feel like school, and then leave their stuff there. So that's what we did. So hi Vicki and Mary and Karen and Kathy. So anyway, I'm officially working every day with my children. I start my day at 8 in the morning. They are supposed to start their day at 8:30. So I tell them at about 20 to 9 that they're tardy, so they come running down real quick. But anyway, it's going pretty well. The teachers have done a phenomenal job. So kudos to all the teachers. With their new online program and the ways in which they're delivering the work to the kids. It's really going to set them up well for when they go to college someday, because they're doing a lot of it online and uploading things. And anyway, so it has been, in its own way, it has been challenging, but it's also been rewarding. Oh, thank you. Someone said they liked my top. Thank you. So when I posted my comment about going live tonight, I'm like, I get to do my hair and I get to put on a little bit of makeup. So I actually got out one of my fancy shirts too. So anyway, thank you so much. I love the shirt and don't get a chance to wear it very often. So anyway, not lately because we're all, at home. So anyway, that's a little bit in the way of an update with my family. We're still adjusting to being home all the time. My husband, for the most part, is not working either, but he keeps himself busy outside, putzing around with something. But here in Michigan, Consumers Energy, so he's an electrician, most of you know that, but he works for himself. But Consumers Energy actually shut down any non-essential jobs or any non-essential work. So if he needs to pull a permit for a house, he can't, unless it's a tree fell down in the house and they need to have a service reconnected, that sort of thing. So, you know, but he keeps himself busy. He's got a couple little odds and end jobs that he could do in people's cabins that they haven't opened up yet, so nobody's there. He's able to go and do work and things like that. So he keeps himself busy, but just realized that I didn't kind of give you guys an update on him. So there's the update on him. So anyway, you guys know that by sharing my video, you get in the drawing to win prizes. And last week I announced that our prizes were going to be the Gingham Gala adhesive back sequins. These are retiring. And we'll talk about the retired list here in just a couple moments. And then we have the basic pearls. So the winner of the self-adhesive sequins is Nancy Snowblend. So Nancy, congratulations, and I have your address. So I get those in the mail to you. And I know, Nancy, you normally watch on replay. So I'm sure that you will be live later to hear that. And then the winner of the pearls is Becky Davies. Now, Becky, I do not believe that I have your address, so please send it to me through a private message, and I'll be happy to get your pearls out to you in the mail. And then up for grabs this week is new stuff. So I've talked about the Ornate Garden product suite, and I've actually showcased it here on a Facebook Live a couple weeks ago. So I am giving away 2 lucky winners next week, will be drawn. For the Gilded Gems, which is the gold gems that are part of the Ornate Garden. Now, the Ornate Garden, as a reminder, is a new bundle that's going to be in our new and upcoming annual catalog, and it's available for purchase right now. So it's something you can get your hands on. And then the other item I have is the Ornate Garden Ribbon Combo Pack, okay? So those are the items that are up for grabs by sharing, so feel free to share away. And then I wanted to let you guys know that I'm cleaning my basement out of past kits from classes and things. So you're going to be seeing a kit sale coming out in the next couple weeks here, where I'll be offering my kits for sale pretty cheap from previous classes that I've done. So just kind of be on the lookout for that. Again, these kits, I'll post the cards so you'll see what the cards look like, but please know that I'm not able to do any of the stamping, but all of the pieces, parts will be cut and ready for you to just be able to use the cards and stamp your own greetings or your own sentiments or your own whatever. But I need to get rid of these kits, so I'll be posting the kit with, or the cards that I used, and then the kit so you can kind of see it. But it will include all the card bases, any die cut work or embossing, that sort of thing, but it will not include stamped images, okay? So be on the lookout for that. I know some of you love getting those kinds of kits that you can just kind of look at the card and come up with whatever you want to do on your own. So I want to talk a little bit about the retired list. Hi, Tammy. I'm looking at my glasses anymore. I need to actually put on my reading glasses, you guys, so I'm really sorry. But my eyes have changed. Since I became a grandma, I can say that. My eyes have changed enough to where I need my reading glasses. I need to get I have an eye exam, but I can't do an eye exam until everything opens back up. So anyway, a couple things I wanted to clarify on the retired list, so that you guys were aware of some issues or questions that people had. So the Stampin' Up! Blends. The blends are not retiring. I've had a couple of emails today from a couple of my customers. The blends are just changing in the way in which we are able to order them in the new upcoming annual catalog. So the new annual catalog begins, I think it's June 3rd. And the blends are all still in the new catalog, but you can only purchase them as a bundle. So you're going to have to get both together at the same time. Right now you can get the light or the dark separate, or you can get the combo pack. And so they are going to be separate or together now. Okay, so the blends are not actually retiring. And sometimes I think our retirement list can be a little misleading that way, because there are some other framelits and dies that are retiring, but they're just retiring with the old, when we used to have a contract with a company and now we don't, and they're changing packaging and that sort of thing. So it can be a little misleading, but I definitely wanted to call out the blends that they are not retiring. And then the other thing I had a couple questions on was the Snail adhesive and the Snail refill. So we as demonstrators were able to view online the new catalog as of yesterday. Perka being a demonstrator, and we as demonstrators can order a few select products from that beginning on May 5th. So I'm here to tell you that they have a replacement in the catalog for the Snail and the Snail refills. Now, I'm not sure if I'm able to go into much detail about what that product is, but I'm here to tell you it looks amazing. And there is another solution there for us for adhesive. So I don't want you to feel that we're not going to have adhesive for you. We're going to have adhesive. It's just going to be a little bit different, and it's not going to be called Snail. Okay. So if you really, really liked the Snail, then go ahead and get some. But I don't want you to think you have to hoard it and get it all because Stampin's done carrying it. Okay. There's going to be adhesive there for you. So anyway, then another thing I wanted to talk to you about is the circle punches. A lot of the circle punches are going away, okay? So the 1/2 inch is retiring, the 1 inch is retiring, the awesome Starburst punch that I use all the time at Layers Behind, the 2 inch circle punch is retiring. There's a lot of them retiring, okay? So I do know that there's the 2 1/4 staying, the 2 inch staying, and the 1 1/2 inch staying. And but we do also have the circle dies, so you can still make circles all different shapes. But if you liked the punches and you don't have some of those smaller punches, you might want to consider getting them. Okay. And then the other question that I had was the 12 by 12 album and the page protectors. So the 12 by 12 page protectors and the 12 by 12 album is being retired. And as sad as I am to see those go, I'm bummed. I do know that, you know, there are so many other, I think part of the issue, and this is just my opinion, so this is not anything that I've heard from Stampin' Up, but my guess is it wasn't a hot seller for them anymore. You know, if people are just doing cards, they're not purchasing the albums and the page protectors. Now, I still do a scrapbook club, and my scrapbook club will still continue. There are many other places that I can get, unfortunately, I'd love to get them from Stampin' Up, but there are many other places that I can get page protectors and 3-ring binders for my scrapbook albums. So I don't want any of you that are part of my scrapbook club to think that that means I'm going to quit scrapbooking. I started with scrapbooking. Scrapbooking is what I did before I became a card maker. And so I will not be stopping my scrapbooking club or anything like that. We can still get 12 by 12 cardstock and all of the different the different color families. We can get the white, the vanilla. So my scrapbook club will still be going strong. So I just wanted to make sure I clarified that. I love it though when you guys ask me questions, because if you have the question, I'm going to guarantee somebody else has the question as well. And that's kind of why I'm addressing some of them tonight on my Facebook Live, so that I can just kind of let you guys know kind of what I know, that sort of thing. So anyway, those were my big takeaways. Last night I had all of my some of my team members and, you know, messaging me, this is going away, that's going away, and I was so busy with helping some of you put in your orders and things, so I didn't really have time to digest the retired list till this morning. I got up extra early with my cup of coffee, sat at my computer before I started my work day, and actually had time to look at it and make some notes of things that I wanted to kind of talk to you guys about tonight. So anyway, retirement party. I have postponed my Stampin' Up! Retirement party. It was supposed to be tomorrow night, and I'm here to tell you, it's going to be a Facebook Live, but I'm not prepared for it. I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking, oh, that list comes out. I have Thursday and Friday to prepare for it. Yeah. So anyway, my retirement party is going to be Friday, May 8th, okay? So what my retirement party is going to look like, it's going to be a Facebook Live just like this, but I'll be focusing in on some of the stamp sets going away, some of the embellishments, some of the designer series paper, showing you some previous projects that I've made with some of my favorite products that are going away, and kind of just to kind of give you a last chance to get some of those things if they were any of your favorites as well, okay? So May 8th, and you'll be seeing posts and stuff about that, but I made that decision a couple days ago that there's no way I could have done all that this week. So wishful thinking. My online bingo. So you guys, when I told you my online bingo was going to be May 12th, I meant May 20th. So May 12th is my team meeting, and I had a couple of my team members really quickly let me know that that was our team meeting, and I misspoke. So it is May 20th, online bingo. So registration will be coming out for that in the next little bit here. But it's a fun event. I can't do local bingo right now because of all of us, you know, not being able to get together and gather. So this online bingo is going to be structured a little bit different, and I'm hoping that it will attract both my people who normally come to my local event and those of you that do it online, okay? So be looking for that to be coming out here pretty quickly. And then my card classes. So as most of you know, I do have a helper that was helping me get my card kits together. And with everything going on, I haven't been letting her come here to work on card kits because I was trying to be really good and careful with being exposed to people so that I was able to help when my granddaughter came as far as taking meals to them and that sort of thing. So anyway, I do have an angel who has decided to help me. She's wonderful. We've been doing porch pickup and drop off, and so anyway, without delaying here, I'm behind on my card kits because I just don't have the capacity to keep up with all of them as fast as I would like to. But I'm here to tell you that this gal today picked them all up, and she's putting them all together, making sure they have all the ribbon, all of the components to those kits. And I'm going to guess that she'll be dropping them back off to me by Monday. So April kits will actually be out on time and not late like March was. And then I'm kind of going to wait and see what the governor does with the whole stay home, stay safe stuff before I decide what I'm going to be doing with my May classes. But May classes may have to also be the same way where you guys get the kits in the mail. I'd rather have you come and make them and see you guys because I miss all of you so much. But on the same side token of it, I want to do it safely as well. So I guess we'll wait and see on that. So with that, I want to talk to you a little bit about the projects that I'm going to be making with you guys tonight. So I originally had planned to share with you, which I'll be sharing with you next week now, some really pretty cards using the Bird Ballad Designer Series paper that's going away. And then I came down to work on the projects yesterday and realized I didn't have any of the Designer Series paper. I only had a couple pieces, but not the ones I really needed to be able to do my projects. So I totally did changed what I was the 2 weeks around. So you're getting this week's Facebook Live projects that were planned for next week, and you're going to get this week's next week. So luckily I was able to do that in a pinch. But I'm going to be sharing with you some projects that I created using the Birthday Jubilee bundle. It is in our mini catalog, and it's really quick and simple and easy as far as these cards. If you like to color, this is a perfect bundle for you. And so with that, I'm going to transition my camera down to my stamp area, and I've created some really pretty cards for you today with my girls' help over my lunch hour. Today they were coloring some of these cards for us. And so I'm excited to be able to share them with you. Now, if you do have any other questions about the retirement list or anything like that, comment or post them here, and I would be more than happy to answer them once I'm no longer live with you all, because it's really hard to answer a ton of questions until I have a chance to look at them all. So, okay, so with that, I am going to transition my camera down to my stamp area, and you're going to see some really fun sneak peeks of some cards, and then I'm going to actually take them all away on you so that you can't see them all, and then we're going to stamp them together and have some fun. So there's your sneak peek as I'm shaking the camera on you guys and adjusting it here. Aren't they pretty? Pretty, pretty. Okay, and now I'm going to take them all away. Okay, so I can't let you guys see all of them for too long because, you know, anyway. Okay, so this product suite that I am going to be sharing with you guys today is the Birthday Jubilee bundle. And this bundle is, it has these awesome dies right here. And then it also has this stamp set right here, okay? So together the bundle is $42.25, and I really like the stamp set, okay? First I was like, nah, okay. But let me show you guys the dies that coordinate with this, because these dies are what's really, really cool. Okay. So these dies kind of reminded me of, remember when a couple weeks ago when I showcased the Last a Lifetime bundle, it was the wedding bundle, and there was some really awesome dies in that bundle that had a lot of detail to them. That's what these two right here reminded me of as well. And they went through the Big Shot, oh, Big Shot. Speaking of that, we are going to be having our new machines coming out soon. It's called the Stampin' Emboss and Die Cut machine. And they're going to be coming out soon, so I'm pretty excited about that. So those of you that have been waiting, you may not have to wait too much longer. Anyway, but these ran through very well, cut out very well. I only had to use the paper piercer for a little bit, a few little pieces. You can see I have to go back in and pull some of those out. But those two pieces I used on almost every single card. This die right here is for this, this right here, the stamped image. And then you have a little stamped image or a little die that will cut out the little flower in the stamp set down here. And then you have these leaves that I used. There's a couple dies that I didn't use tonight, but these two leaves are identical dies, so you can cut two out at once. And I like that Stampin' Up's been doing that some, because then you can cut two out at once and not just, you know, only one at a time. Now I'm here to tell you that these cards you're going to be seeing tonight are also going to be an option for a class in May. So any of you that purchase my card kits or my classes, this is an option for you. So I'm giving you a little bit of a heads up. And I've decided to kind of start doing that sometimes with my Facebook Lives, because that way you guys can kind of see how they're put together. You can see the product, and then you'll know if it's something that you even remotely want to purchase. Okay, so this first card, I'm looking at how they're piled up on my stack of supplies. So the first card I'm going to share with you is this pretty one right here. Isn't that really gorgeous? Now, I have a little bit of history behind this card. When I was designing it, I knew I wanted to use the Very Vanilla and pair it with the Blackberry Bliss. And so when I started to design this card, I was like, it needs a splash of color, but I'm not sure what color. And I took all my blends. So I have a whole set of blends that are just for me. And I actually let my girls use them today because they did all of the coloring of these. And I told Natalie, she colored this one, and I told her that she could pick whatever splash of color she wanted to add. And I think she chose well with choosing that mint macaron. What do you guys think? Isn't that gorgeous? So I told her, you color them flowers any color that you want. So we are going to start with this card right here. And I indeed used the Very Vanilla for my card base. And Stampin' Up, once again, when they design these awesome dies, they really design them in mind for knowing what our mats are and what our different measurements are for cutting and things like that. This is the Blackberry Bliss that I cut 5 1/4 by 4. And so this I'm going to go ahead and adhere down. And you're going to see that I didn't use a whole lot of, oh, my snail's not wanting to come out. All the more reason for a new adhesive. I cannot wait. And then what I did is I punched out, so those dies you actually have, let me bring those dies back in again, because you, well, actually I'll show you from a different card. So the dies actually cut 2 different shapes. One will cut the complete, like the complete top. One cuts where you have an opening. So some cards I paired the 2 together like this. Other cards I used the same one. So this card I chose to use the same one, okay? And, oh, and I see that I didn't completely, so here you can see that this one did not completely, I didn't poke this one out completely, which, why did I do that? I don't know. But they're coming right out. I mean, there's no problem with those coming out completely. So I'm just going to kind of, and I like to just like flick it with my finger, and I get a lot more of those out. But I must have forgotten to do this one prior to going live with you guys. So you get to actually watch me get all those little pieces out. And I know a paper piercer would work so much easier, but in a pinch, scissors work just as well, as you can see here. And they're coming right out. So I know a lot of times I know you think, oh my gosh, those pieces don't like to come out. These are all coming out, no problem. So these dies ran through my Big Shot completely good. Okay, now I've got little pieces everywhere for you guys to have to deal with, but that's okay. So what I did to adhere these down is I used our mini dimensionals, and because I didn't really know where else to glue them down, and I wanted it to have a little bit of a rise to it. So I did use the mini dimensionals, and I just kind of put them on the 4 little corners here, and they work perfect because you really can't see them once I glue them down. So you can see they're on the corners there. So I'm just going to go ahead and take off those backings. And then I adhered this onto my card, kind of down a little bit. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the other one, which I also forgot to finish punching out. This one only has a couple though. So let me get those out because I don't want to adhere this down and not have those out. There we go. And then this one is the same thing. The little dimensionals on the 4 corners. And my nails are getting really long. After my Facebook Live tonight, I will be taking them off and redoing them myself. Just didn't have time to do that today because, as you guys know, nail salons are closed, so we're not able to get our nails done, you know. So I bought a little kit to do it myself, and it came just actually yesterday. So okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and put this one on here as well, like that. Isn't that so pretty just alone like that? And then I used the 2 1/4 inch circle punch, and I used the 2-inch circle punch. Now this I used the sentiment from the stamp set, celebrating you is the best. This I heat embossed with white embossing powder, and I know that it doesn't, this is cream, but from a distance it actually looks just fine. I heat embossed that in advance using the heat tool. I'm sure most of you guys know how to do the heat embossing. I didn't get it all set up to actually do it with you guys, but I'm going to go ahead and adhere that on there, and then I am going to go ahead and put a couple dimensionals on there. See that scrap paper? No one's going to see it. That's why I'm using it. And this doesn't fit quite all the way in the middle, but I just kind of put it on with a little bit of space on top and bottom. Okay. And then I took these that are already, we already stamped these and colored them and cut them out with a Big Shot. So, and then you can see right here, you can kind of see the same pattern as right here. See the flower right here and the kind of, so all I did is kind of lined that up and adhered it down across the top. And then did the same thing here on, oops, I got to get that dimensional backing off me. And then did the exact same thing down here on the bottom. Just kind of lined it up and adhered it down. And then I used this lace trim, and I do believe that this lace trim is carrying over into our new catalog, which I'm really excited about. But I used the lace trim, and this was actually Natalie's idea. She thought that this lace trim, she thought the card needed it because it just needed a little bit more elegance to it. And so I says, okay, if that's what you think. So I had taken some ribbons up with me. We actually worked on these up at our tables that I mentioned to you guys that we sit at for me working and them schooling. And this was our lunch hour. It was their art class. That's what I told them. They just laughed and said, Mom, we don't have art this year. And I'm like, well, you do now. So anyway, it was kind of fun. We laughed about it. I just made a bow, and then I'm going to glue this bow down with a couple of glue dots. Just kind of grabbed a couple glue dots off there. It is so quiet in my house right now. My husband took Natalie, our oldest, to go for a drive because she needs to get some hours logged so she can get her license. And so he took her for a drive, and my son Matt got a different truck or a different vehicle, and he gave Natalie his old car, which actually was bought from my friend Kathy years ago. And so they went for a drive, and now that she calls it her car, and she named it Gwen. I don't get it, but okay. So anyway, they went for a drive so that she could log some hours for driver's training, so that once things kind of open back up, we can eventually get her in for segment 2 so that she can hopefully get her license. She won't turn 16 until end of September, but we want to be able to at least try to have her get her license as soon as before or after that as she can. So anyway, and then my other daughter is outside playing softball. So anyway, there you have this really beautiful card. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Diane. I'm so glad you guys like that card, and I do too. I think it is so gorgeous, and I think Natalie did a really good job picking the colors for those flowers. This was definitely a family affair this afternoon, or when we did this early this afternoon. Okay, the next card I'm going to share with you is actually one that Claire colored. And I love this card. It's probably my favorite out of all of them just because it's so bright and vivid. This card actually focuses in on two of the retiring in colors. It focuses on the Call Me Clover and on the Pineapple Punch. And I hope you guys can see how pretty that is. So even though the color's going away, I'm still using it as a class option for the month of May. But if you do not have the in colors yet, I encourage you to get them sooner than later, okay? So let me get my supplies for this card. And this one I used Whisper White as my card base. And then I wanted a little edge of yellow to show on here. So you can see I've got just this little edge right here. So this is cut 5 1/4 by 4. And then I cut this one, you guys are gonna laugh at me, but it's 5 1/4 plus 1/8. So what would that be? 5/8 maybe? I'm not sure how, yeah, 1 and 5. Anyway, so it's just cut 1/8 of an inch bigger. So not 1/4 of an inch, just 1/8 of an inch. So it just to give me that little bit of yellow to go all the way around that, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and adhere this down to my card. Yes, this card is very, very springy. And I asked Claire when we were designing these cards, I said, what color do you want to do? And she says, I don't know, yellow's pretty, Mom. And I went, yellow is pretty. And so that was kind of how I designed this card. And just so happens that we have the Pineapple Punch blends, and we have, man, those little dimensional backings, they drive me crazy. And we had the Call Me Clover blends, and so we took advantage of that and whipped the colors together. So see how it just gives it that nice little look, just a little yellow around it. So the same thing goes with this one. Now this one though, we did the one, kind of like instead of doing 2 of these, we did each one, okay? So these are also gonna go on with a couple of dimensionals. And you can see that it's such a simple card when you really think about it, because the dies pretty much do the work for you on this one, because it covers up so much of the card, and it just makes it so pretty, I think anyway. Okay, so this one then is just gonna go down here on the bottom, and I'm going to go ahead and add some dimensionals onto this one as well. So if you don't have the mini dimensionals and you end up making these cards, buying this bundle, buying my card class, or doing this as your class option if you're part of my club for May, you're definitely gonna want to use the mini dimensionals, or you can cut up your big dimensionals as well. But I find it really easy to just use those minis on this. And I'm just gonna go ahead and adhere that down there. And then Claire colored these in advance. Aren't they pretty? Didn't she do a good job on those? I think so. So pretty. And so the same thing, I just went ahead and kind of lined this up and glued it down. I should actually show you guys how I did the sentiment. So here you can see on this sentiment, I have some of it done in black and some of it done in green. And what you're gonna do to do that, and this is a technique that I think a lot of us have forgotten about over time, but this is the stamped image, the Celebrate You. Celebrating You is the best. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the basic black marker and the Call Me Clover marker. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually color, whoops, you want the fatter end, the broader tip, and I'm gonna color the word You with my Call Me Clover marker. So I'm just gonna color this in like that. And this will come right off of your stamps. Now you do not want to use your Stampin' blends. For this technique, you want to use your actual watercolor markers, because if you don't use your watercolor markers, that the blends are kind of are like a Sharpie marker, so you're going to actually color your stamps and it's going to stay there. So I colored that word with the green marker, and then I'm just going to do the rest of this with the black marker. And I'm just going to kind of go on top of the word celebrating and is the best. You just want to make sure you take the time to get those really good. And then you want to huff on this, okay? So I know you guys can't actually see me doing this, but I'm just going to kind of like breathe on it. You can probably hear me do that. And that just re-moistens it all so that you can get it to stamp. I'm hoping I'm not down too far, but it's kind of hard to stamp with my camera right there, but it'll work. And there you have a neat way of doing that, where you can have different colors on your stamped sentiment without having to, you know, mask it off and all that. So I'm sure most of you have seen that before, but you probably, oh, this I don't think I dimensioned on. Oh, I did. But you probably don't use it that much anymore because, you know, we kind of forget about those things, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this onto my card right here in the middle like that. And then I'm going to continue gluing on the other part. So this one's going to go on here on the bottom like this. And then I have a couple of the little ones. So these are the two little ones. And those I'm going to put a big dimensional on. And again, Claire colored all of these for this card. Between the two of them, they pretty much did all of my coloring today. And I just adhered these to the ends of my, now the image or the shape that I stamped on, this piece right here, is part of the Stitched So Sweetly dies. So I do want to show you them because these dies are awesome as well. Now I will tell you that they're currently on back order, but they are coming back because they're awesome. These are in the mini catalog right now, and I love them. You have a bunch of the different layering, scalloped, stitched, edged rectangles, and then these shapes right here. And the one that I used on my project is this one right here. Okay. So just wanted to make sure that you guys knew what I used on that, because that is not part of the Birthday Jubilee dies. So there you have card number 2. Bright and fresh and crisp looking. And again, these two colors are retiring. It's Pineapple Punch and the Call Me Clover. So if they are cards that or colors that you like, I suggest you get them purchased sooner than later, because otherwise you might miss out on them. But so pretty. Okay. So the next card I'm going to share with you, the coloring was done by, let me think here now. Which one's next? Okay, this one. The coloring on this one was done by Natalie. And a couple weeks ago, you guys will remember that I used Mary Merlot on a project and on a box. And I fell in love with, thank you, Philomena. You guys are so awesome. I'm glad you guys like my cards. But I fell in love with the Mary Merlot. And I realized that I have not been using Mary Merlot as often as I should be using it. And I paired it today with the Petal Pink. And I have to say, I love the look of those two colors together. When you put the two actual card pieces, or two colors together, like just with, you know, the cardstock colors, I was not impressed. But on this card, and putting it all together like this, I fell in love with it. So for this one, I used the Petal Pink for the base of my card. And then for my first layering mat, I used the Mary Merlot. And that is 5 1/4 by 4. So again, this will be a class option. Hi, Beth. Hi, Kathy. I missed you on there too. Oh, Janet is there too. I haven't been looking at my comments and I need to start doing that. Okay, so that is the 5 1/4 by 4 mat. And this one, I used the two that are this way. So they're the two rectangle ones. I didn't use the one that has the the arch in it, okay? So you can kind of see how I've mixed and matched those, so you can do the exact same thing. And I'm bringing in my mini dimensionals, and I'm just going to put some dimensionals here on the backs of these. And again, these ran through the Big Shot so easy. If you don't have a Big Shot, you know, you have a whatever, it'll work just fine. I had no problem getting all of the little pieces and parts to come out of these. They came out no problem. You know, I did run it back and forth twice, and after I did that, they, you know, came out really, really good. Okay, so I'm just going to take off all those dimensionals. Thanks, Carol. I love these two colors together too. Like I said, when I first kind of started looking at the two, because Mary Merlot is a hard color, I think, to pair with. I mean, it looks nice with gray. It looks nice with, you know, black or vanilla, but I really wanted an actual pop of color. And I think that this one worked pretty good, actually. So then I used the 2 1/4 inch punch and then the 2-inch punch, and in advance I just stamped that with black ink. And so I'm just going to go ahead and adhere those two together. And then what I did is I adhered this onto the middle here, but I only put adhesive on the top and the bottom because it's only going to need to stick on the top and the bottom of that. So then there's no adhesive underneath here, so it doesn't have to worry about getting stuck and all that. So after I had kind of picked the colors, Natalie says, Mom, there are no Mary Merlot ink colors, so I'm not sure what color you want me to make these flowers. And I said, pick something. So believe it or not, she chose the cherry cobbler. And if you look at this card up close, it really doesn't look, you really can't tell that that's cherry cobbler and that's Mary Merlot. But I said to her, okay, go for it. Color them. It'll be pretty and perfect no matter what. So anyway, that is colored with cherry cobbler, and that I put down a little bit farther. And then I also have one of these little flowers. Now the green that she used for the leaves was the Granny Apple Green. She asked me what colors she should use, and I says, you know, look through my blends and pick whatever you want. And so that is what she chose. She thought that it was better than the old olive, and I said, that's fine, whatever you want to do. And then I cut out a couple of these little leaves. So these are the leaves, those dies that I showed you. And I just adhered them with the glue dot. Now you could use the fine tip glue or our liquid green cap Tombow glue, but I was in a hurry designing these. So I just went ahead and put them on with just, whoops, that one's coming up a little high. There we go. I just kind of put them on with a glue dot, but you could, you know, get all fancy and get out your other adhesives. I chose to just kind of keep it simple. And this one I'm just going to kind of go up here with and glue down. So there you have a really cute, simple card. So pretty. So pretty. Love those colors together. Okay, so that is card number 3. The next card that I'm going to share with you, we're going to go back to Claire. Claire colored this one. And again, I did not tell them that they had to pick any of the Stampin' Up! Colors. I just said, you pick whatever you think's going to work. And this card I wanted to do a card where I showcased that you don't have to always use those dies, okay? So you can still make a really pretty card without using the dies and just incorporating in that awesome stamped image. So for this one, I chose to use the Gorgeous Grape, and that is going to be my card base. And then I cut a piece of basic black cardstock. And so my basic black cardstock, this one, I wanted more of the purple to show. So I didn't cut it the normal 5 1/4 by 4. I didn't even cut it the normal 5 by 3 3/4. I went down even one more 1/4 inch. So this is 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. Okay. So that way I had a little bit more of that purple showing. And then I cut the Whisper White 1/4 inch smaller so that it will pair together in here perfectly. And then I ran this through the Big Shot with the basket weave embossing folder. Okay, so I did that in advance just to save a little bit of time. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere this down with my Snail onto my basic black. And then this whole piece will get adhered down to my cardstock like that. So pretty. So then here is the colored. So again, this is a stamp from that Birthday Jubilee stamp set for anybody joining a little bit late. And then that is just ran through the Big Shot with the die and cut out. Now this one I did go ahead and put on with some dimensionals because I wanted to have the lift since I don't have the those little framelits or the detailed laser cut pieces on this card. So I'm putting 3 large dimensionals on there. Oh, thanks, Jan. I think that they look great together too. The black just kind of pops that right up. And because I incorporated some of the ink color with the black, I think it was perfect as well. So for this, we're going to go ahead and we are going to do our sentiment the exact same way. So I need to clean. Let me find my cloth here. I need to clean my stamp. I need to get rid of all the green on it because we're going to do the exact same thing that we did with that green marker, but with the purple one. So I don't want to ruin. So that's what you have to be really careful when you clean your stamps so that you don't ruin your markers by coloring it with it not being clean. So I'm just going to use the Gorgeous Grape marker and I'm going to color in the word you again. And it's quiet while I do this. Almost done. And then I'm going to take the basic black again and color in the other words. The only thing I don't like about this technique is if you do it too hard on top of those words, it kind of frays your tip over time. So I am doing it very delicately. So if you ever do these cards with people and you don't want them to accidentally ruin your markers, just, you know, tell them to be a little bit more gentle. So it does the trick. You just gotta, takes you a little bit longer to do it. So I'm gonna huff this again. Just remoistens it and I'm gonna go ahead and stamp that down. And there I have, so cool. And then I'm gonna go ahead and adhere this down to my, so this is my 2-inch circle punch. This is my 2 1/4. Hi, Cindy. Glad you could join us. And Carol, I see Carol, another Carol has joined us as well. Hi, Carol. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and put a couple dimensionals down. And, whoops, telling you guys those backings go everywhere in this static too. And then this I'm just going to go ahead and put on my card like that. So there you have a really pretty one. And the blends that I think Claire used, these were the Rich Razzleberry. So even though she didn't use any of the Gorgeous Grape, she used Rich Razzleberry. And then I believe it's Highland Heather that she used on these cards. I do know that they all used the Granny Apple Green for the green leaves because they were taking turns handing it back and forth to each other. They were across the tables from each other. Okay, this last card, I believe, is one that Natalie did because Claire actually got called away. She had one of her best friend's birthdays was today, and the mom reached out to me and said, we are going to be driving around neighborhoods. Do you care if we drive in your driveway? Because I have a driveway that you kind of can pull in. There's a spot for you to turn around and then drive back out. And Claire made a sign that said Happy Birthday Ellery on it and was outside waiting for her friends to, you know, her mom to come in with her, and she made a sign for her. It was so cool because today's her 13th birthday, and of course they couldn't celebrate. So we had fun with that. So this is what Natalie was doing while we were busy with that. And I got to bring this in so you guys can see the coloring. So she left some of them white because she wanted them to look like daisies. Isn't that so cool? So the markers that she used, this actual cardstock right here is lovely. I'm sorry, is, oh gosh. Not Mango Medley. This is the, I'm drawing a blank. I'm thinking of one of our new in colors that I can't mention right now. But anyway, we used the Lovely Lipstick marker on here, even though this is not the Lovely Lipstick cardstock. So, yeah. Why can I not think of this cardstock color? It's going to drive me crazy. And it's pink, you guys. Okay. Melon Mambo. It's Melon Mambo. There we go. Yay! All right, so we're going to go ahead and use that for our card base. And then on this one, I used crumb cake, and I used the two of these together. And this card I chose to run like that. Now this card is similar to a case right from the catalog, but we changed it and we used yellow ribbon instead of, they had, I think, Grapefruit Grove, and we changed it up just a little bit. But again, I thought that the color was really, really pretty. And so we're going to go ahead and do the same thing we've been doing. We're going to put some mini dimensionals onto the backs of these. Thank you, Karen, for helping me out there. I eventually remembered that it was mango or melon mambo, but I was drawing a blank there. So now you guys kind of have a little sneak peek that we have another color similar coming out, because that's the only one I could think of, and I didn't want to say that. So anyway, yeah. Crazy me. So I'm just going to go ahead and add some little mini dimensionals onto the four corners of this. Hi, Sonia. Thank you for joining me. I'm trying to see all the different people as you guys come on. I don't always catch them, but I try. Philomena, I will make sure I let the girls know that you said they did a good job. They love it when you guys do that and give them compliments, and I tell them. And like I said, they're not clear as right now. She helped me get started with my live tonight, and then she had to get on a Zoom call with her dance team. And Natalie, like I said, is out driving. So usually it's Natalie that's stuck helping me, but Claire went on her... Claire decided to go on her Zoom call a little bit late so that she could help her poor mom out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and adhere that one down. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So like I said, we literally kind of pitch hit these cards late last night. I came downstairs and went, oh, I don't have any more of the, I totally forgot that I used all of my Bird Ballad cardstock on my scrapbook layout for Scrapbook Club a couple months ago. And I only, like I said, only had a couple pieces left, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not prepared to do the other one. Anyway, so long story short, I was down here last night for an hour or so, kind of just, you know, doing the legwork as far as cutting everything out, and then I took everything up and we colored it today. So it worked out just fine. But you know how when you have something in mind that you want to do, and then it changes and you have to kind of run with the change, and you're really bummed because you really wanted to do what you had planned. But anyway, these cards turned out beautiful. I can't, and I looked at it like, now I have one of my classes designed for May. So yeah, it's perfect. Thank you, Carol. So glad you guys like the cards. So this is a piece of the Granny Apple green cardstock, cut a half or 3/4 of an inch by, I want to say it's 3.5. I cut it the exact same width as the dies are themselves. And I'm just going to stamp the happy birthday on it. There we go. And using Memento Black, I just kind of stayed with the Memento Black. And then that I went ahead and dimensioned onto my card. So you can see this overlapped a little bit. I'm just going to go ahead and dimensional that on right on top where those two meet. So I'm going to use some of the big dimensionals for that. I'm going to actually use 3 of them. Well, I'm going to use 3 dimensionals and then a little piece, because most of you know I use all of those little pieces around the edge. Then I'm just going to go ahead and adhere this down right to the center like that. And then this is the 2 that are, you know, Natalie already colored. And I did these, I just glued on with some Snail adhesive. I didn't dimensional those up. And you could if you wanted to, you know, use your dimensionals and lift those up as well. But I chose not to do those again. So I'm just going to go ahead and adhere them down to the top and the bottom like that. Isn't that cute? And then I used, because she incorporated some yellow into this, I chose to use the Pineapple Punch ribbon. Now this ribbon is going away, so if it's ribbon that you want, you need to get it sooner than later. And I just made a bow. And this one I kept a little bit on the big side, so I kept my loops here a little bit bigger. And I'm just going to tie this off. There we go. And then I'm going to use a glue dot, and I'm just going to adhere this down here to the bottom or the end of the happy birthday. And I think I used a couple glue dots on this to make sure that it stuck really good. And I just stuck it down right there. Isn't that cute? So those are my birthday cards that like I said, these cards right here, these two, there's a similar one in the catalog. I'll bring it in. You can kind of see where we got the inspiration for that one. It's this one right here, but I didn't care for that color of ribbon on there. So we decided to make it daisies and add some really pretty yellow pineapple punch ribbon to really make that card pop. Okay, so those of you that joined me a little bit late, I'm going to kind of just go through the cards again. So this is the last one that we did. And then we had the purple one right here, pretty as well. Now I'll be posting pictures of all of these cards on my page. If I don't get to it tonight, it's usually there by the next morning. Most of you have been probably noticing that. This one, isn't that one gorgeous too? Love that one. But I encourage you guys, if you know this, I think the Birthday Jubilee is on the retired list, but they are guaranteeing stamp sets through, I believe, gosh, it's some date in May, and I don't have it off the top of my head. But if you like this, I encourage you to get it sooner than later, because these cards are so simple, and you could even change the sentiment. These would make really good sympathy cards, anniversary cards. They'd really make great cards for any occasion that you might like. And that's kind of what I like about different bundles and things, because, you know, even though it says Birthday Jubilee on it, you could put in here, you know, with sympathy or thinking of you or thank you. You could really, this could even be a wedding card. This one is so gorgeous, I think. And who wouldn't love to have a thinking of you card that just brightens their day with the bright colors that we used in that one right there. So anyway, I encourage you guys to think about adding this stamp bundle to your collection. Next week, I'll be sharing with you, it's actually going to be retiring, but it'll be a class that I'll be offering using the Bird Ballad tin of cards. They have some really pretty cards that I'm going to be showcasing with some really pretty, the pretty Bird Ballad Designer Series paper. And I was so excited to have that, to show you guys that tonight, but you got last week's Facebook Live instead. So anyway, thank you guys so very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the cards that I created using this awesome bundle. And I look forward to seeing you guys back here next Thursday for another great fun stamping event. Thanks everyone, and have a great weekend. Bye.